Alright everybody, welcome to episode 289 of Psykos Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. Got Snoopy mug today. So, I know, sorry it's been a while. Lots and lots of busy, but I thought I would try to give you a video here. I know it's been 3 weeks. A lot of things went down, of course, and so I'm going to title this video Tutti Frutti Holy Water. And I know some of you people are going to be like, Tutti Frutti Holy Water? The hell is Mighty Psycho talking about? Been a very bad week for deaths, kids. For musician deaths and all kinds of other things. Of course, most people have heard Little Richard has passed. Yes. Womp bop loop bop ba bam boom. Little Richard. 87. Lived to be 87. As far as for vinyl's concerned, I don't have, I've got a bunch of Little Richard 45s that I picked up, but I have only ever come across one Little Richard album, and it's this one here, on specialty. Here's the front, here's the back. This is courtesy of Donna Jo Cat Lady. She had a box of albums pretty much, and this was one of the things that I got out of it. It is not in the best of shape, but even though there is a lot of scratches on this damn thing, for some reason it still plays all the way through, which really surprises me. Now, this originally was a 1959 was the original issue, but this little black triangle makes it a 64 press. Okay, so still very happy to have it in the collection. And then also I picked this up. This isn't in the best of shape either, but I picked it up for $2 at a garage sale across the street from where I live, actually. And it is a Little Richard EP. Here's Little Richard. Front, back, from 1957. So the vinyl is actually in really nice shape. It's actually in better shape than this cover is. Believe you me, it really needs some work. So Little Richard, like I said, I've always dug his sounds. I always have. Ever since I was a little kid, I had even the Little Richard 45s back then. Tutti Frutti, Jenny Jenny, Good Golly Miss Molly, Ooh My Soul, Keep a Knockin'. I saw his performance in Girl Can't Help It with Jane Mansfield. And he kept going. But the last album that he did was in '92. And he did it with a Japanese guitarist. But it was reworking of his 50s and 60s stuff. That's the one thing I noticed, that there is at least a handful in his album discography going back to the late 50s, that there is a lot of greatest hits or reworkings of his tunes that he did. For VJ, I know he did that. Reprise, I think he did that. Others, but you know, it is what it is. So Tutti Frutti, that's the Tutti Frutti part. Holy Water, you're probably going, oh boy, here we go. I actually got it on the turntable. Picked it up, not too badly priced, from June of 1990. Bad Company's Holy Water, that's right. Here's the front, here's the back. This is Brian Howe passed away this past week at age 66. Brian Howe originally started out with Ted Nugent, he was on the 1984 Atlantic album Penetrator. That's where he pretty much got his start from. Jumps to Badco because Paul Rodgers was busy in the firm. Cuts 4 albums with Mick Ralphs and Simon Kirke. And this is album number 3. And he'll do Here Comes Trouble in 92 before, after the 93 tour, he leaves, or excuse me, 93 to 94, yeah. And then Robert Hart takes over on the vocals till Paul Rodgers comes back for the reunion. Now, I dig this album, okay? I got to see Brian Howe in concert up in northern Illinois around 2005. He opened for Foreigner, and Jason Bonham was in Foreigner in that lineup. And they came to a little used airstrip in Greenwood, Illinois, which is near Woodstock and Wonder Lake and all that other stuff. If you're from northern Illinois, you'll get this. They put a bunch of concerts for a couple years out there. And Brian Howe was the opening act for them. And he was a little cocky, slightly crabby that day. I heard that he can be like that, or he was like that. I really don't exactly know what bad blood went down between the members of Badco and him, honestly, because that's what I heard. That's the reason why he was gone. Howe supposedly said it was because everybody else resented him and producer Terry Thomas for writing most of the album material. I don't know. But I remember that he goes off, and in his middle of his set, he's like, this next song bought me my house in 1990, and tears right into holy water. And he was cocky the way he was saying it too. But yeah, I mean, other than Holy Water, Walk Through Fire, If You Needed Somebody, just a lot of good stuff on here, honestly. Very, very good stuff. So, Tutti Frutti, Holy Water. Some other little album finds and other little various knicky-knackies. Let's see. I picked this up at a decent price. I know you're not going to see it real well, but it originally came out in '69, okay? So I'm going to say this is either '69 or an early '70s issue, alright? Carl Perkins' original Golden Hits on Sun. Lightly autographed by the man himself. I know you can't see it real well, and I wish it was a little bit better of a graph, but I paid an okay price for this, and I'm happy to have a signed Carl Perkins in my collection, okay? Carl he passed away in January of 1998. I actually wrote a get well, oh boy, I wrote a get well card and sent it to the hospital he was at in Tennessee. I think it was Tennessee. Don't know if he ever got it, but I know that after I mailed it, I want to say a week later he passed. So, Carl Perkins, signed 70 Sun. Alright, this next one I picked up here in Arkansas. The record stores have been touch and go. They have been, because of the virus that will not be named. There was a lot of weird things. They were shuttered. Some of them were, some weren't. Okay. Well, I went down there about a week or two ago, and the man wasn't open. Sometimes he works and his schedule isn't quite right. This is like a part-time business for him. So he went off and he's like, hey, guess what? He goes, I feel bad. So pull something used out of here. I'll sell it to you for 50% off. So I found this. Yes, I did not have the Linga song, Beatles, Live at the Star Club Hamburg 62, including 15 never before released tracks. Yes. I'm glad to have this. Here's your gatefold on all of this. And of course a picture of the good old Star Club. At least now I don't need to get this anymore, you know, because I was hoping for a Linga song. I mean, sure, I could go for a German Bellaphon, but I'm not that ambitious. So I'll settle for this. That means I could probably get rid of my Pickwick that I've got. So next, some other cheap ones I picked up from 1981 on Polydor. Cozy Powell's Tilt. This album's actually pretty cool. There's a bunch of former Rainbow guest stars on here. Don Airey makes an appearance. God, I can't read my own writing. I'm sorry. Jeff Beck shows up on here. Just a bunch of fun. But yeah, I mean, there's some people that were in Rainbow and would end up in Michael Schenker, and they're on this. Like I said, not a bad album. This is the front. This is the back. I've always dug Cozy's drumming. Okay, and no matter what band he was in, from Jeff Beck Group, you know, to Rainbow, to Michael Schenker, to not Alcatraz, I'm sorry, to Sabbath, and then some. Okay, so very good. Whitesnake. I love his drumming on Slide It In. Excellent album. So Cozy Powell's Tilt from '81. This next one. Now I already got Hearts magazine. But what I thought was really cool, and I almost didn't catch this. Right? Here's the front. Here's the back. But in teeny weeny writing, it said Arista Records. I'm going, hold on a minute, because the U.S. and Canadian issue, if I remember correctly, are on Mushroom, of course. But so I pulled this out. I said pulled out. It is an Arista Dutch. This was a Holland release. So I've never seen Heart on Arista, and it's in really, really clean shape. I can't wait to listen to this version, because I've always liked this version of Heart. Okay, I have. So that's awesome. Another thing I dug and I found out, I think you might get a kick out of this, because I like hair metal and heavy metal and hard rock and stuff like that, just like anybody else. I bought a bunch of albums a couple years back, and this was wedged between two of them. From 1984, this is a album cover slick of Y&T's In Rock We Trust, signed by all of them. So in the summer or fall of '84, they must have went off and maybe did promo appearances, maybe at record stores or something like that. But this is all of them. 3/4 of this lineup have passed away. Dave Micanetti is the only one left from this classic lineup of this band. So I think pretty cool. I am going to have to sleeve that for sure. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, some 45s. Now, I got a stack of 45s a long time back, stacks and stacks, but some of these ones I don't think I've ever shown before. I always was kind of, and these came out to like maybe being between 50 and 75 cents a piece I grabbed. Okay? From 1961 on Gardena Records, Paul Revere liked long hair. Yeah, this is my first Gardena. I have never come across one of these. And there was even two in that stack, and I ended up grabbing the best of the two, which, even though it's got writing on it, so what? I'm a big New Colony 6 fan. On Centaur, You're Gonna Be Mine. Any New Colony 6 I will grab. I am still looking for an original breakthrough album. If I ever find that, I could scratch that off my want list. From 1962, White Label promo, Golden Gridiron Boy, Randy Newman's first 45 on Dot from 1962. Both sides aren't actually that bad at all, but of course produced by Pat Boone, and it's kind of hokey, but it's still fun and neat to listen to. but he wouldn't do another 45 record for 6 years. So to find this, and in better shape, it could go between $50 and $100 for this. Go figure. Now, my last 45, which I could not believe I found this. Now, like I said, I'm from the Chicagoland area. That's where I originally was born and raised and lived for the last 40 years. So I am akin to Chicago area groups. So when I found this 45 on Fibro Records, Kitty Agogo from Pandora and the Males. Kitty Agogo was a mid-1960s children's television show that they would do children's stuff, but they also would have bands. For example, New Colony 6 did one. Trying to remember, there was another one. I don't know if it was the Buckinghams or Crying Shames. One of them were on there too. Okay. So, here's the thing about this, and I just got it because I saw it said Kitty Agogo. I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. The Pandora and the Males one, I could almost care less. But the Males was a neat little instrumental. More rockin', okay? So, why would I care about this 45, you ask? This is from 1965, the fall of 65, actually. Who was in the Males? Who was in the Males at this time? Well, two of the band members were Hawk Walensky, who would end up being a member of the Shadows at Night and Chicago and session stuff, okay? Rufus, if I remember correctly, he did work for Rufus. It's the guitar player. It's the 15-year-old guitar player that is on this 45 that makes his first ever appearance. That's right, kids. Mr. Ted Nugent. This is Ted Nugent's first appearance on vinyl from 65. I got a kick out of that. It's not bad. It ain't great, but it's not bad. And to find this for, like I said, between 50 and 75, couldn't pass it up. No, couldn't pass it up. Let's see. Vintage Rock picked up the newest one, Eddie Cochran. That was last month, I know, because it's May now, but love Eddie Cochran. I do. I am not going to lie to you, though. I have never come across any Eddie Cochran vinyl. I've tried. Never even found any 45s, I don't think. Unless maybe I have a copy of Summertime Blues. I'm not sure. I'd have to dig. But I've never come across, to my knowledge, any Eddie Cochran. So, I do actually like his stuff. I picked this up dirt cheap. It was $1. Some of you old schoolers are going to remember this, but this is the Complete Rock Family Trees, Pete Frame, Volume 1 and 2. I used to swear by this thing. Of course, Google kind of has gone off and replaced all this, but I still got to kick it looking at all these charts. And a 1984 book by the Kinks. Actually, it was a really interesting read. I'm a big Kinks fan. I'm also a big Byrds fan. Timeless Flight. This one came out in late 90, early 91. And got into the meat and the potatoes of the history of the Byrds and the solo Byrds and stuff like that at the time. A lot of interesting things. Johnny Rogan knew his stuff. I'll tell you that right now. Also, let's see. Unfortunately, no Dust Jacket, but Bob Dylan from 1973. And lastly, I cannot remember if I showed this to you. Roy Clark, My Life in Spite of Myself. I found this for $1 at the local used bookstore. Signed by the man himself. That's right. Signed by Roy Clark. This was, if I remember correctly, 1994. Yeah, 94. So happy to have this in the signed collection. Let's see here. Nothing else I really want to talk about now. One new subscriber, Passion Picnic. Thank you very much for subbing. Appreciate that. Please like and sub and to Psykos Platters. I do have some album reviews coming. I have promised this. Different things. Hopefully the new Mickey Dolenz on 7A will be one of those coming real soon. I may do some retro reviews too, that are things I have not had a chance to get to, like the John Anderson solo album from last year, Max Museum with Ronnie Dark, Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams, WVOA 87.7 Syracuse, New York, 6 to 9 p.m. Central and 9 p. to 10 p. Central for both shows Sunday nights. Go like the Facebook pages, etc., etc., etc. And you know what, kids? I don't know. Just keep rocking. We will get through the virus that will not be named, because it's bullshit. I tell you, it's all bullshit. Just, I don't know. We'll get through this, okay, guys? I love you, VC. Hopefully it won't be another 3 weeks before I make another one of these things, okay? Take care. God bless. Rock on. And remember, kids, Tutti Frutti Holy Water. Woo!